After today, the Hive will never buzz again. We're live on the ground, in the air, and on the web for the Charlotte Coliseum's implosion. And if you're a late riser, a loud boom could wake you up this morning. The Charlotte Coliseum this morning has a date with dynamite. WCNC reporter Diana Rugg is live at the Coliseum, and she'll be talking about this morning's implosion. Diana?
Good morning, John, and I'm glad we're talking about the weather this morning because weather is going to be the biggest factor in everything going off as planned this morning. Now, demolition crews have been here for 3 months preparing the building, taking out the non-essential items from the structure, taking off the front of the structure, loading it with dynamite, all the support beams, 550 pounds of dynamite in there, and yesterday the final touches, wiring up all that dynamite to the support beams and making sure that everything is double and triple checked. But the one thing that they cannot do anything about is the weather, and it is raining this morning, and joining me to talk about that is the project executive, Tony Burkhart. Tony, what are you going to do about the weather? Will it mess up your plans?
It looks like it's going to start lightening up around 10 o'clock, so we may have to delay a little bit just to allow the clouds to rise.
And the clouds, people think not a factor in an implosion, but they are. Tell us why.
The sound vibrations will bounce off the low cloud ceiling and possibly break windows to adjacent buildings. And
that is not something that you want to happen.
No, ma'am.
Of course. But you also said the wind is a factor as well.
The wind is actually low enough. We were worried about high winds from the tropical storm. The building's been pre-weakened, and we didn't want it to cause any problems with the structure.
To blow over.
Yes.
Well, thanks for joining us. I know you've got a very busy morning. Right now, 10 o'clock is the time, but we'll keep you updated here on WCNC. Live now in Southwest Charlotte, Diana Rugg, WCNC.
Thousands packed the Charlotte Coliseum for many sold-out NBA games and to see the Grateful Dead and Old Blue Eyes himself, Frank Sinatra, perform. In a few hours, the excitement that once filled the building will only be a memory. WCNC reporter Diana Rugg is live at the Charlotte Coliseum with more on this morning's implosion. Good morning, Diana.
Good morning, Maria, and we're going to have one last moment of excitement this morning out here as the building implodes right around 10 a.m. But before then, the thing we have to talk about is the weather. The weather is the one key factor in determining whether everything goes as planned this morning. Now, WCNC got an exclusive look inside the Coliseum yesterday as crews made final preparations. You see the 550 pounds of dynamite and lots of wires. And all those wires come out to one place, and that's out here to the VIP tent where there's a guy pushing the button named Calvin Easter. Now, Calvin won our newspaper partners contest, the Charlotte Observer, about the best story inside the Coliseum. And yes. Calvin, what is that story?
Well, God granted me the opportunity to work at such a facility as the Charlotte Coliseum, and within those years I've had the opportunity to enjoy therapeutic recreation as opposed to work.
And you get to meet some famous people in here.
Phenomenal people. Anywhere from the President, Clinton, Will Smith, you name it, is here. The Hive has been just the greatest experience of my life.
And you have what I say, a real job. You're a high school vice principal down at Butler, but you did this too.
Hey, I do it all, actually. Just being a part of this phenomenal facility here in the city of Charlotte. I want to do it for the Coliseum in the city of Charlotte and everybody that we have encountered and worked with over the years.
And we are going to talk to you more in about an hour about your feelings today, watching all that fun, that memory just go down in a big pile of rubble. Live now in Southwest Charlotte, Diana Rugg, WCNC.
This morning, the Charlotte Coliseum has a date with dynamite. The sound of basketballs and musical artists once filled that building, but in less than 2 hours, the only sound many will hear is a big boom. WCNC reporter Diana Rugg is live in Southwest Charlotte with much more. Diana.
Good morning, John, and I can see what Brad Panovich is saying about this increasing in intensity, the wind and the rain. My peacock is about to fly away here with the rain blowing sideways and the wind picking up, and weather is going to be a huge factor in whether things go as planned this morning. Now, WCNC got an exclusive look inside the Coliseum yesterday as demolition crews made their final preparations for the implosion today. They set up 550 pounds of dynamite, and they also hooked up all of the wires, and telling me here to tell us about what is going to go here on this land once the implosion is done and everything is cleared is Mason Zimmerman from Pope and Land Enterprises. They're the developers of this property, and I'm excited about this. We were talking a little bit about having to move way out to suburbia, far away, in order to get the kind of neighborhood that families enjoy, and you're going to put it right here.
We're excited about it. This is the end of a long journey and the beginning of another journey. So we're really excited about what's going to replace the Coliseum, which is City Park.
And there's a park actually going on that property, but everything around it, there's just miles of green space out here with a golf course and tennis courts and things like that. And what are you going to build on the rest of this property? 170 acres.
Well, we're going to begin up on Tyvola Road, and we're going to build a little community there, which is going to have retail, restaurants, and some multifamily. And over against the park will be the City Park Residential District, which is more the residential is going to be close to the park. And we're going to encircle the whole thing with the loop at City Park, which is a 3-mile trail system that's going to connect this property to the surrounding community, the offices and the Renaissance Park and the golf course and the farmers market.
And so folks like us who are like in the mommy brain don't have to move out to the suburbia farm and, you know, way outside of town. We can be near uptown if we want to buy something here. That's going to be exciting to watch in the next few years. Live now in Southwest Charlotte, Diana Rugg, WCNC.
The Charlotte Hornets, the Bobcats, and even Hurricane Katrina evacuees have called the Charlotte Coliseum home. This morning, the Hive has a date with dynamite. In less than 2 hours, the Charlotte Coliseum will be a pile of rubble, and you can watch the implosion live right here on WCNC. But first, WCNC reporter Melissa Martin gives us a sneak peek at what the landmark looks like inside before it turns to dust. Here's a WCNC exclusive.
Crews are getting ready for the final show at the Charlotte Coliseum. It's demolition.
It took 2 years to build and 13 seconds to bring down.
Only a shell remains. You can see crews have gutted the 19-year-old building, now wiring it with explosives to be imploded Sunday.
It's great. It's finally come. It's been 3 months of anxiety trying to get to this point.
Working 18-hour days to prep the building.
We've removed all the interior walls. We've demolished columns. We've taken out floors.
Now putting together the tools to take it down.
Putting a fuse cap onto a piece of primacord.
550 pounds of explosives.
Stop and talk to you more, but I got work to do.
To crumble the more than 70-ton structure.
This is the bulk explosive here, which is stick dynamite, that once this is cut, will kick the column out to allow the structure to fall.
Sparks already fly as crews weaken the roof so it will fall just as it's supposed to.
After 9 seconds, then these first 2 columns in the middle on this side will start going off, and then every half second, a series of the columns will be then shot, so to speak.
And in 13 seconds, leaving an even bigger pile of rubble as the lights go out on the arena for good. Melissa Martin, WCNC.
In less than an hour, you will never hear the buzz at the Hive again. The Charlotte Coliseum, a part of our history here for 19 years, will come tumbling down. WCNC reporter Diana Rugg is live in Southwest Charlotte for this morning's implosion. Diana?
Good morning, John. And yes, the sky is crying overhead, it seems, for the Charlotte Coliseum, but weather is going to be a huge factor on whether this implosion goes off on time. We got some exclusive looks inside the Coliseum yesterday afternoon as crews made their final preparations, placing those 550 pounds of dynamite, all those miles of wire to make sure that everything goes off on time. The button is out here in the VIP tent, and sitting with me in the VIP tent is probably one of the most famous Charlotte Hornets ever to play. Putting on his hat right now, Muggsy Bogues. What are you thinking today? You made this place what it is, and now it's going.
It's a sad day, you know, it truly is, but it's a good day at the same time, you know. So many memories in that building, and I recall the very first game that we had in the building, watching 24,000 people dressed up in tuxedos, looking extravagant, I mean, with smiles on their face, and then all of a sudden we look at the scoreboard and we're down by 40. I mean, that was a memorable moment for me, and as well as Alonzo hitting that shot in May, and for us to advance to the second round to move on. I mean, beating Boston, it just was unbelievable around here. I mean, we was a beloved team regionally. The city really came out and embraced us, and so it is really a sad day, but it's a good day at the same time. So it's kind of ending of the Hornets and the beginning of the Bobcats. So I'm happy and sad at the very same time.
And you also coached the Sting for a little while, which are no more, sadly, but you are working a little bit, you said, with the Bobcats. You've got some things coming up.
Yeah, I'm working with the Bobcats and trying to let everybody know, to get the whole old Hornets fans back into with the Bobcats. I mean, because they've done such a tremendous job of trying to reach out to the community, trying to bring back a winning tradition back here, and it's just been tough for them. I think we're starting to see the ending of the light. It's starting to turn the corner. We got a good opportunity with the draft coming up. I mean, with Michael on board and new coach Sam Benson, you know, it's just a good direction right now, and hopefully that the fans can understand where they headed and come out and support them, just like they supported the Hornets all those years.
Well, you helped create the excitement that made this place what it is, and we are going to say goodbye to it in just about an hour. Thank you for joining us on this important day, and we will be here all morning. Make sure you watch us online, on the web, and in the air. I'm Diana Rugg, live in Southwest Charlotte for WCNC.
The cloud cover and the rain causing some problems for the implosion over at the Coliseum. That could cause some delays. At least it has caused some delays. Let's take it over to Maria and John on more on the delay there.
All right, thank you, John. It did indeed. It caused a half-hour delay. We're expecting that implosion now to happen in about 2 hours, about 2 minutes and 40 seconds at 10:30.
Well, WCNC reporter Diana Rugg has been covering the implosion all morning long. And Diana, we heard that you had heard the 10-minute warning at least, so we know we're in the time frame.
Yes, actually, we just heard the 3-minute warning just about 15 seconds ago. Right now, the dignitaries are gathered on the podium. That is where the button will be pushed. You see Calvin Easter, the man who won our the Charlotte Observer contest, to push the button. Muggsy Bogues, Mayor Pat McCrory, Mason Zimmerman, who we talked to earlier this morning, who is the developer of this land, and Warren Turner, who gave me his champagne to make this toast this morning. They are all getting ready to toast the Coliseum that will be imploded. This is a big part of Charlotte history right here. Of course, Muggsy Bogues on hand to play with the Hornets, part of that expansion team that opened the Coliseum in 1988. Charlotte, North Carolina had finally gotten its own pro team, a major league team. It was a big time. There was a lot going on that opening night. People were in tuxedos, according to Muggsy Bogues. He remembered playing in front of that crowd. There was a sellout every night. It was a great time to be a Charlotte Hornets fan, and you couldn't get a ticket to get inside that Coliseum, but after about 10 years, that love affair between the team and its fans, it kind of broke everybody's hearts, because the owners wanted luxury boxes. The Coliseum didn't have enough of them, didn't have the right kind of luxury boxes. So that's when the owners decided to move their team, and in 2002 they got the approval to go to New Orleans. Some would say they're still looking for that right place, but right now here in front of the Coliseum, we are about a minute away from that 1-minute warning. You see Jim from Dicona, who we talked to yesterday. He's the man who actually set the explosive blast. That is the 1-minute warning right there. In 1 minute, we're going to see a major part of Charlotte history just completely go. Let's listen to the toast right now.
To this moment, when we honor the past, we look toward the future, and we salute the Charlotte Coliseum.
And we're going to pan back over again. We got about 30 seconds so we can take a shot of that Coliseum. What's going to happen after the button is pushed, there's going to be about a 9-second delay. That's when you're going to hear the first popping, and it's going to be on the other side of the building. You'll hear the popping. About 10.
9.
Oh, here we go.
8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Fire.
sounded like there was like the first earthquake ever in Charlotte. Bigger than the doctor's building.
And you see all the whole crew there holding hands, giving each other's hugs. There is nothing but a cloud of dust right there where the Coliseum used to be. They said it probably wouldn't go down the entire way, that there would still be walls sticking up, but with the clouds and with the dust, you see nothing but a pile of twisted steel and rubble. The roof trusses fell down into the pit that used to be the floor, and there it is. Nothing left of the Charlotte Coliseum right now. And like everybody else, I'm going to go ahead and make a toast to the Charlotte Coliseum, the history that it used to be, and the future that's going to be here and for our other team in town. Cheers to you, Maria and John.
All right, Diane, I think she better get out of the way because it looks like some of that smoke and rubble might come rolling her way. We felt it here in the studio.
We did feel it here. We're about, what,
right,
2 miles away, maybe not even that far. I don't know. We're going to show that again in just a moment, and I guess we're going to replay it right now. Let's go ahead.
13 seconds, and that seemed to be about 13 seconds exactly that it took to come down. 500 pounds of dynamite.
500 pounds of dynamite. It's not really, 19 years isn't very long for a building like that. It was still usable except for the NBA point of view because it didn't have the luxury suites. But you take a look at the people that were in that building, whether it was Michael Jordan or Magic Johnson or Larry Bird. From the entertainment venues, of course, it was the Rolling Stones. Frank Sinatra did the first concert in that building.
Tim McGraw,
Mother Teresa was there. Bill Clinton was there. A lot of history, a lot of history. It's going to be a place called City Park rather, is going to go in there. Over the next couple of years, it'll be somewhat equivalent to like Brookdale Village up in Huntersville, perhaps a little bit like Phillips Place here in Charlotte, something like that. You see an artist rendering there, but I don't think people are ever going to forget the Coliseum.
Shops, restaurants, and I think 2,500 homes that they were saying they were going to put up in City Park and have the little perimeter as a walking trail around what you see right there in your picture around the Coliseum area, and they're going to use some of the debris and kind of recycle it to use it for the City Park construction.
Well, they have plenty of room out there, and it will revitalize that area. There's absolutely no question about that. As you see some city officials and other officials standing out there, they were here for the ceremony, which was just a few moments ago. It was delayed by half an hour because of cloud cover. They wanted a little bit more altitude, a little bit more space, and a little bit more cloud cover higher up because they didn't want some of the reverberations to break any windows. And I suspect that had that building been downtown, they may not have done it until this afternoon because there's so many buildings.
And what I really like seeing about that toast that you just saw in your picture there was that Muggsy Bogues showed up to toast the end of the Coliseum, but he was also doing that interview with Diana Rugg earlier about how much the Coliseum meant to him and his, his heyday years back in 1988. And
you can still see a pile of rubble there, but there's still a great deal of work to be done. I don't know. It took them 3 months to get set to implode that. It took them 3 months to tear out the inside of it, to plant the explosives, etc. It's going to take quite a while to clean up all that rubble and again start the construction on the new project that's going to be there.
And they kind of did an experimental thing where they put cameras inside.
Yes.
They don't know if the video will survive and if it'll last, but that'll be interesting to see later as the week goes on. And we're also going to show you the implosion again. They were saying it was going to take about 13 seconds, and it was supposed to go off at 10 o'clock. It went off at 10:30 instead because we were having problems with the cloud cover and the ceiling on the cloud cover having to go up higher. I'm hoping we can take some video of the grand opening again. The Coliseum opened in 1988. It was a $52 million cost to build the venue. And at the time, it was a state-of-the-art Coliseum. People around the world, it kind of put Charlotte on the map because that was our first professional team with the Hornets.
And the way this city embraced that team, for 8 straight years, you basically could not get a ticket for a basketball game. A lot of people went, but This city led the NBA in attendance, I think it was for 8 straight years, and the team wasn't that good, obviously, for 4 or 5, but people really embraced the Hornets.
Yep, and Muggsy Bogues saying earlier that he would, you know, see all everybody showing up in tuxedos and you know, coming in their Sunday best and cheering them on and sellout crowds, and he said I'd look up and say, oh my gosh, we're 40 points behind.
Isn't it amazing, though? You look at that picture right there. We've been looking from that same angle all morning where the Coliseum was standing. Now it looks like it could be
There's the grand
a
opening.
hurricane. Here's the opening video right here. This, of course, is the grand opening. Hornets playing there, doing very well. I believe that's Larry Johnson scoring right there.
And at the time, it was the largest venue in the league, seating, get this, it's hard to believe, only 24,000 seats, but at the time, that was the largest venue in the league.
We talked about all the basketball, of course, there and all the concerts, but one of the last things housed at the arena was a humanitarian effort. This is the Katrina victims, many of whom came from New Orleans to here, and we were told that 70% of the people who came here have actually settled here in the Carolinas.
Yep, and that was in 2005. Hard to believe that that was 2 years again, and we're going to leave you now with one more look at the implosion of the Charlotte Coliseum. 19 years after its opening in 1988.
And we're going to join then the Today Show already in progress. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned.